So if you're Shedeur Sanders and you're sitting wherever you're sitting in the dorm rooms in Berea, like that I slept in when I played for the Browns too during training camp, and you're watching or you're watching the news and you're seeing the owner sit there and go, no, well, as of Friday night, they weren't even thinking about me. And then they had a meeting and the right people were in there and they wound up drafting me. I'm sitting here going, man, am I really at the right place here?
Doggy, look on the screen.
I am.
There's two men sandwiched into. We're black men. We don't like what happened to Shedeur Sanders. We saw Eli Manning and his family insist, don't draft me, we don't want to come there. It didn't affect his draft stock. We've seen plenty of situations with individuals that are bloviated a little bit. It didn't affect their draft stock.
Shedeur Sanders is absolutely torching NFL veterans in practice, hosting perfect completion rates and 0 interceptions. But he can't even get a first-team representative. Why? Because the team owner never wanted him in the first place. And now that same owner just confirmed he's willing to trade away what might be the steal of the century. You won't believe how this front office civil war is about to reshape two franchises forever. The Cleveland Browns are sitting on a potential goldmine, and everyone outside of Berea can see it except apparently the man signing the checks. In a bombshell turn, Browns owner Jimmy Haslam has now confirmed that the trade rumors swirling around rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders are very real. And here's where it gets messier. Shedeur wasn't Haslam's pick. That decision came from GM Andrew Berry, who saw the talent, poise, and the star power that the rest of the league somehow overlooked in April's draft. This isn't just a quarterback battle anymore. This is a front office civil war with a franchise's future hanging in the balance. Even as Shedeur has been absolutely torching the defense in training camp, leading all Browns quarterbacks in completion percentage, touchdowns, and passer rating, the fifth-round phenomenon hasn't taken a single first-team representative. You read that right. The guy who's been the most accurate, the most efficient, and the most exciting quarterback in camp is still buried behind veterans and an overhyped rookie. Let me hit you with the numbers that prove this is organizational malpractice. The highest completion percentage of any Browns quarterback, 0 interceptions in team drills, and a jaw-dropping 9 FOR 9-2 touchdown performance that had veterans shaking their heads in disbelief. Better accuracy than Joe Flacco, cleaner decision-making than Dillon Gabriel, and far more upside than an injured Kenny Pickett. But it's not just the statistics that tell the story. You talk to veterans in that locker room, and they'll tell you Shedeur has something special: the leadership, the confidence, and the respect of the room. He's not rattled by pressure, he's not flinching in the pocket, and his chemistry with skilled players is already better than some of the so-called starters. Have you ever seen a situation where the best player gets benched for non-performance reasons? Drop the craziest example you can think of in the comments. This isn't just mismanagement, it's negligence. Every day Shedeur is denied the opportunity to compete for QB1 is another day the Browns risk wasting the most promising young talent they've had under center in years. On one side, Berry believes he's found the future face of the franchise. On the other, Haslam is letting it be known loud and clear that he's open to moving Shedeur if the right offer comes in. And now with the New Orleans Saints quarterback room falling apart faster than their playoff hopes, the NFL rumor mill is spinning into overdrive. The New Orleans Saints thought they had their quarterback problem solved until reality hit them square in the mouth. Derek Carr's sudden retirement blindsided the franchise, ripping away their only proven veteran leader at quarterback. In a panic, they reached for Tyler Shuck in the second round of the draft. It was a move that had fans groaning and scouts shaking their heads from the moment Roger Goodell read the name. Shuck was a developmental prospect at best, but the Saints sold him as a long-term answer. The backlash was immediate. Fans blasted the move, analysts questioned the front office, and whispers began that Shuck's age and lack of development made him a questionable fit for the team's long-term plans. Fast forward to training camp, and the Shuck experiment is already looking like one of the worst draft decisions in recent memory. His mechanics are sloppy, his reads are slow, his decision-making is questionable at best, and according to local reporters, he may have run the worst 2-minute drill in NFL history during situational work. That's not an exaggeration. That's a franchise quarterback situation on life support. What's the worst draft pick you've ever seen your team make? Saints fans, I'm especially curious about your thoughts on passing on Sanders multiple times. Let me know in the comments. The low point came during a recent practice when Shuck's 2-minute drill was so catastrophically bad that veteran reporters in New Orleans labeled it the worst they had ever seen. We're not talking about a rookie struggling with the playbook. We're talking about fundamental football skills breaking down under pressure. Meanwhile, across the league in Cleveland, Shedeur Sanders is putting up near-perfect numbers in camp, including that jaw-dropping 9 FOR 9-2 touchdown performance that had veterans shaking their heads in disbelief. The contrast couldn't be more stark or more damning for both organizations. But before the Saints can even dream about fixing their mistake, there's one glaring question: why is Cleveland even entertaining trading away their most talented quarterback? And the answer might have nothing to do with football and everything to do with organizational politics. When the Browns took Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round, fans assumed everyone in the building was on the same page. After all, this was one of the most decorated, talked about quarterbacks in college football. A player whose poise under pressure and arm talent screamed future franchise leader. But behind closed doors, that draft card wasn't handed in by Jimmy Haslam. This was an Andrew Berry move, pure and simple. The GM saw Shedeur as a low-risk, high-reward steal, the kind of pick that could one day define his tenure in Cleveland. He recognized the talent, the poise and the star power that the rest of the league somehow overlooked. Haslam, not so much. The billionaire owner has never been shy about sticking his hands in the football side of business, and word around the league is he wasn't sold on Shedeur from the start. That skepticism has now morphed into something even more dangerous: leverage. Who should have more say in draft picks? The GM who studies film and analytics, or the owner who signs the checks? Comment GM or owner and tell me why. By confirming trade rumors publicly, Haslam is sending a very clear message. Shedeur may be Berry's pick, but his future will be decided in the owner's office, not the GM's. It's a power play that puts the entire organization's credibility on the line. The irony is suffocating. The numbers don't lie. Sanders has outperformed every quarterback on the Browns roster, better accuracy than Joe Flacco, cleaner decision-making than Dillon Gabriel, and far more upside than an injured Kenny Pickett. Yet, while Gabriel stumbles through first-team reps, Shedeur is stuck running with backups. It's not about talent anymore, it's about politics. If this was about production, the quarterback depth chart in Cleveland wouldn't even be a debate. Through the first stretch of training camp, Shedeur Sanders has been nothing short of electric. The numbers tell the story. Highest completion percentage of any Browns quarterback, 0 interceptions in team drills, and a knack for turning broken plays into highlight reel touchdowns. The 9-FOR-9-2 touchdown clinic he put on against a starting defense wasn't a fluke. It was confirmation of everything his supporters have been saying since draft day. The kid is ready now, and it's not just the stats that impress. Former NFL star Asante Samuel has already gone public, saying the Saints should pick up the phone today and make an offer. You can see it in how he carries himself on the field. There's a confidence, a commanding presence that you can't teach. When Shedeur steps into the huddle, players listen. When he calls out protections at the line, veterans nod in approval. This isn't just about arm talent, this is about leadership qualities that translate immediately to the professional level. In any other organization, this performance would earn a promotion to first-team reps. In Cleveland, he's still stuck behind Dillon Gabriel, who struggled mightily with accuracy and pocket awareness, and Joe Flacco, who's clearly in the twilight of his career. This isn't just mismanagement, it's organizational malpractice. Meanwhile, in New Orleans, desperation isn't just in the air, it's choking the franchise. Derek Carr's sudden retirement left them scrambling, and their answer, Shuck, is proving to be a disaster of historic proportions. Every practice where Shuck struggles is just more proof that they need exactly what Sanders offers. This is why the Saints make so much sense for Shedeur Sanders. They need a quarterback with poise under pressure, someone who can energize the fan base, sell jerseys, and bring hope back to the Superdome. Shedeur isn't just a short-term fix, he's a player you can build around for the next decade. And unlike Shuck, Sanders has already proven he can light up NFL-caliber defenses without flinching. Jimmy Haslam confirming trade talks changes the entire dynamic. The Saints don't have to wonder if Cleveland might listen to offers, they already know the door is open. If you were the Saints GM, what would you offer Cleveland for Sanders? A first-round pick, multiple picks, a player swap? Give me your realistic trade proposal in the comments. Think about what New Orleans brings to the table. A loaded offense with playmakers at every position, a fan base that's starving for excitement, and a competitive window that's wide open if they can just fix the quarterback position. They have everything Sanders needs to succeed immediately. The 2025 NFL Draft will be remembered for a lot of things, but for the New Orleans Saints, it might go down as one of the biggest "what were they thinking" moments in franchise history. When their number came up in multiple rounds, Shedeur Sanders was still sitting right there available for the taking. Instead of grabbing him, they gambled on Shuck, a player who wasn't even in the top tier of most scouts' rankings. And it wasn't just once. The Saints passed on Shedeur multiple times, watching him slide all the way to the 5th round, where the Browns finally snagged him. Now, months later, the draft board has flipped upside down. The same Saints who passed on him are suddenly being linked to a blockbuster trade to get him, while the same Browns who drafted him are debating whether to cash in before they ever give him a real shot. The Browns like to preach about building a winner and doing whatever it takes to compete for a championship. But keeping Shedeur Sanders shackled to a depth chart he's already outperformed isn't building toward anything. It's wasting time, talent, and opportunity. If Cleveland isn't willing to give him a fair shot to compete for the starting job, then the best move for both the player and the franchise is to trade him while his value is still sky high. Right now, Shedeur is the hottest young quarterback commodity in the league. He's proven in camp that he can run Kevin Stefanski's offense with surgical precision. He's the most accurate passer in the building, the only one who hasn't been rattled by pressure, and the only one showing consistent growth week to week. If the Browns' plan is to keep him as an insurance policy behind older, injury-prone, or inconsistent quarterbacks, that's not a plan. That's hoarding an asset. Meanwhile, the Saints have every reason to overpay for the right quarterback. Their offense is loaded with playmakers, their fan base is starving for excitement, and their window to compete in the NFC South is wide open if they fix the quarterback position. This is the kind of deal where Cleveland could demand premium draft picks or even a starter in return and still come out ahead. If Jimmy Haslam truly believes Shedeur wasn't his guy, then this is his moment. Make the call, strike the deal, and let Shedeur become the face of a franchise that actually wants him. Anything less is just holding him hostage. Shedeur Sanders wasn't supposed to be a 5th-round afterthought. He wasn't supposed to sit behind quarterbacks with worse numbers, weaker arms, and less composure. And he definitely wasn't supposed to be dangled in trade talks before he's even taken a single first-team snap. Yet here we are. The Browns owner has confirmed the rumors. The GM is quietly fighting to keep his guy, and the rest of the league is watching like hawks. The New Orleans Saints have the need, Shedeur has the skill, and the stars are aligning for a move that could flip the NFL script in an instant. And if the Browns truly don't plan on letting him compete for QB1, then keeping him on the sideline isn't just unfair, it's sabotage. He's earned the right to lead an NFL offense through his performance, his leadership, and his professionalism. Whether that's in Cleveland, New Orleans, or somewhere else entirely, in the end, this is bigger than one rookie quarterback. It's about whether a team will let talent rise naturally or let politics and ego bury it. The Browns have a choice to make: unleash the most exciting young quarterback in camp or watch another franchise turn him into a star. This situation perfectly illustrates how ego and politics can sabotage even the smartest football decisions. Whether you're a Browns fan, Saints fan, or just love great quarterback play, this story has implications that'll ripple through the league for years to come. So we'll put it up to you. Should Cleveland finally give Shedeur the keys to the offense and let him compete for the starting job he's earned? Or is it time to let him go and build his legacy somewhere else that actually believes in him? Because one way or another, his time is coming. The only question left is, where will it be? Drop your take in the comments and tell me which team would be the perfect landing spot if he gets traded. Are the Saints the obvious choice, or is there another franchise that makes more sense? And Browns fans, I especially want to hear from you about how you're feeling watching this organizational dysfunction play out in real time. If you're as fired up about this situation as I am, smash that like button and subscribe for daily NFL updates. Tomorrow I'll be breaking down which other teams might jump into the Sanders sweepstakes if this trade talk heats up. And trust me, there are some surprising names that could get involved.